What's up, Patriots fans? A lot of hectic news coming out as of late, and it's time to get the pulse of all of Patriots fans. I want to answer your question today. I am Nic Rohloff here of Patriots Today. This is a mailbag, and we're going to kick things off with my guy Tar. Hashtag Patriots, do you think Jerod Mayo will bring in coaches with ties to New England or try to clean house? This is a fantastic question, by the way, Tar, and I believe it will be a mixture. And the one thing that's intriguing to me is what will the Patriots coaches already in-house do? If Bill Belichick does go to a different organization, which it is expected to be the case, say he goes to the Atlanta Falcons. First one that comes to mind, and I think it's the best fit for him. Does he bring over his two sons that are on the coaching staff? Does he bring Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator? What will that situation be like? Well, how many coaches will Bill Belichick poach from this current staff? A lot of people like Drod Mayo. He's a leader of men. I can see a lot of coaches already on the staff staying with New England. So if that's the case, well, then you don't have that many things to fill. I like DeMarcus Covington for defensive coordinator, and I do believe there will be a lot of people tied to New England that Mayo looks to fill out his staff. How about a fun name for offensive coordinator or off the offensive side of the ball? Wes Welker, the former Patriots wide receiver. He's done fantastic work for San Francisco. I could see him coming back to New England, former teammate of Drod Mayo. King of randomness, how big is the next GM going to be for New England? It's massive. And if I'm going to be honest, I think the GM position is the most important role that the Patriots are looking for this year. And I truly do believe that because when you think of what has went wrong for the Patriots over the last 4 seasons ever since Tom Brady left, it's been the lack of offensive talent. And you are going to need someone to come in and just do a complete overhaul of that offense. They need some offensive line help. They need a new quarterback. They need wide receivers. And I think that GM role is going to be coveted by people out there, specifically because they have $85 million in cap space when they cut J.C. Jackson, and they have the 3rd overall pick. People are going to want this job, and New England and Robert Kraft are going to have to hit a home run on this hire and get the ground rolling. And that brings me to this question, which is a great question, and I want to ask you guys as we answer your questions. Who do you want to be the next Patriots GM? Maybe you don't know any candidates out there. We put out a video yesterday about top 5 GM candidates. Let me know who your number one guy is for the next GM of the New England Patriots. Let's go to Big Potato. Do we think we can sign Derrick Henry? I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it's likely, if I'm going to be honest. I will say this. If the Patriots ended up going with Mike Vrabel, I think Derrick Henry would have been an excellent free agent signing for the vet min, because I don't think Derrick Henry is going to get a big contract as he is getting older and older and has likely played his last snap in Nashville. But I don't really think there's a good fit next to Ramondre Stevenson. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think Henry and Stevenson are the best 1-2 punch. Both are really good running backs. There's no doubt about that. I just don't think they complement each other that well. I think I look more towards a Ziggy Elliott guy again, who can really be good in the passing game. And I'm not saying Derrick Henry can't be good in the passing game, but I do think he's not the best pass catcher. And Ramondre Stevenson had done good job with that in the passing game. So I think if I wanted to do anything, I'd go more of a third down back, a scat back. But there's no doubting Derrick Henry's career, right? One of the best running backs of all time, one of the most dominant. He's one of the reasons why the Titans have been able to be such a successful team. Almost 10,000 yards in his career, 88 touchdowns. He's a fantastic player. I actually just don't see that being a fit in New England. And it's tough to project these things when you don't even know who your GM is, right? That first domino to fall is GM. Then we could really start thinking about free agents that we're going to go after. Ooh, great question from Miss Tom Brady. I miss him too, every single day. It's sad that he's no longer with us in the NFL, of course. What grade would you give the hiring of Drod Mayo? Oh, this is a good question. Put on the school cap. Let's go B+. Not gonna. I don't know if I could say it's an A, right? But the Patriots and Robert Kraft better be darn sure that this is the correct hire for the Patriots if you're not even going to interview other candidates. I think B plus is a good option. That's like an 88, 89 grade. So don't get it twisted and see it, that's disrespect for me. I think Mayo is a good coach. I think he is a great leader of men, which you'll hear me say multiple times because I do think that's the most important part of being a head coach and getting a locker room to follow you into battle for 17, hopefully 21 weeks a year. I think he's going to be good in New England. He seems to have a lot of support already from ex-Patriots players and people already in that Patriots locker room. Go back to Tar. What does it say to you that Drod Mayo jumped from a linebackers coach to a head coach in only 5 years? Another good question from Tar. And what it tells me is that he's a smart man and that he is a personable person. And that is something that Mayo was actually asked in the past of like how he relates to people and how he is able to get people to follow him. And I don't know the exact quote, and I'd hate to misquote him here, but I remember seeing him say something like, I believe that I can talk to old, I can talk to young, I can talk to white guys, I can talk to black guys, I can talk to all races. Like, he is comfortable having tough decisions that fall on his shoulders, and he's comfortable having difficult conversations. And I think that's important from your head coach, that he's not going to shy away. I think he's going to be someone that when he gets asked hard questions after a tough loss on Monday morning, he's going to give you an honest and respectful answer. And I think Mayo is just going to do a good job leading this team in a good direction. And you certainly needed someone, like if you, let's just put this for example. If you ended up hiring like a Ben Johnson outside the organization that ends up being a disaster, that would set your franchise back quite a bit. But Drod Mayo, you can have a little bit of comfortability there, considering he's been in the organization and he's been a fast-rising candidate. He almost was the Panthers head coach last year. Guess what? It's a good thing he didn't take it because that is a train wreck in Carolina. Passing it over to Ethan, do you think when we get a new GM, he will make a splash like getting T. Higgins? Because I feel like when a new GM comes to town, they make a splash in free agency. There actually is a track record of that. We talk about Dave Ziegler, who could be a Patriots GM candidate. When he went over from New England to Las Vegas with McDaniels, what was one of the first things they did? They traded for Davante Adams. And you see a bunch of GMs make big splashes right away to get the ground running. And I do see that being a possibility, Ethan. Whether it be the new GM trading up in the NFL draft from 3-1 or 3-2 to ensure Drake Maye or Caleb Williams, or whether it be to sign this guy right here, T. Higgins, who has been just absolutely terrific in Cincinnati as a wide receiver 1/wide receiver 2 alongside Jamar Chase. Consistent guy who's a deep threat, big body wide receiver that is great in the contested catch route, gets 1,000 yards a season. He's been fantastic. And the reason why I think it's a real possibility that he is a Patriot is because they have to pay Joe Burrow. They have to pay other guys on the defensive side of the ball. They have to pay Jamar Chase. Like, they're going to have to pay some of these guys, and T. Higgins could fall to the wayside. And if he's able to hit free agency, New England should absolutely allot that $85 million cap space they have. They should look at 25 of it on a 4-year deal to T. Higgins for $100 million total. I'm all in on that. And even this, let's say this. I'm not putting out if the Bengals end up franchise tagging T. Higgins, but he doesn't want to play in the franchise tag, I still wouldn't look out or disregard a potential second-round pick heading to Cincinnati in a trade for T. Higgins. Logan, does anyone else believe that if we get Zappy some protection, he'll be a successful QB in a revamped system? Oh, we got a Zappy truther. And I don't want to be disrespectful, Logan, because I think Zappy has shown good things. But to me, there's just absolutely no chance I watched Bailey Zappe play and think to myself, he can win a Super Bowl. And to me, if you're not thinking this quarterback can win a Super Bowl, then what are we evaluating here? I don't want a quarterback that's, hey, a system around him, he could make the playoffs. He could win a playoff game. I want a quarterback that I envision hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy, and as I guess better as he was than Mac Jones when he replaced him. I don't think Zappe is a franchise QB. I think Zappe is a fantastic backup quarterback, and I'd love to have him back in New England, backing up whoever is quarterbacking this team in 2024. Big Potato back with a question. Would you like Drake Maye or Caleb Williams? And this is the million-dollar question, is it not? Drake Maye is my guy. 6'4", 6'5", North Carolina QB. He's a Justin Herbert clone. I think he plays a lot like Josh Allen, if I'm going to be honest. But Caleb Williams, 6'1", maybe 6'1", very agile, makes the wow plays. His play style gets compared to Patrick Mahomes. He has a cannon of an arm. Both Maye and Caleb both do. They both kind of regressed a little bit statistically this year compared to last year in college football. But I just think the talent for both guys are there. I'd love either one to be the quarterback of the future for the Patriots. I'm trying not to let my biases slip through here as a North Carolina guy, but I do lean Drake Maye because as good and as better as Caleb Williams is on the field, which is probably the case slightly, I question his ability to handle the tough questions and be a leader in the locker room, which is another big thing that you need to be as a franchise QB. Logan, last question. Trade down and get Jaden Daniels and Rome Odunze. Now, this is something I can get behind. And a lot of people have came at me in the comment section on previous videos on me saying that if the Patriots hold firm with the third overall pick and it goes Caleb Williams 1, Drake Maye 2, or vice versa, either way, those two are off the board, that I would run to the cash counter with Marvin Harrison Jr. as my pick. A lot of people have said we need Jaden Daniels, which I understand. I just think the third overall pick for JD is a little rich. He's a great prospect, but is he top 3 worthy? I don't know if that's the case. A lot of concerns, and me specifically, I'm concerned with the reason him breaking out as a fifth-year guy, so it took a long time for him to get into this top-tier prospect range, and it only happened when he had to throw the ball a million times a game, and he was throwing to Malik Neighbors, who's going to be a top 10 pick, and another first-round pick in Brian Thomas. That's a little concerning to me. But if you're going to tell me I trade back from like 3 to 6 or 3 to 7, and I get Jaden Daniels, and then I don't know how Rome Odunze would happen unless the Patriots used another pick to trade back up, because you're not going to get multiple first-round picks in the same draft for that third overall pick. But if you're able to get Jaden Daniels at 6 or 7, I think that's the correct value for him, and then somehow trade up for Odunze, I'm in on that. And that brings me to this question to round out today's show. Name your favorite 2024 NFL draft prospect. Mine's Drake Maye because I'm a North Carolina guy, but if you take away my biases, I'm a big Malik Neighbors fan. He's going to go top 10. That wide receiver out of LSU is oh so dangerous. Not saying he's the best, but he's one of my favorites to watch. That'll do it for today's video. Make sure you do subscribe because whether it be Q&As answering your guys' questions or breaking down the latest rumors, we'll come back tomorrow with the video on the latest Patriots rumors surrounding the offensive coordinator situation, candidates, whether it be Bill O'Brien or whether it be someone outside the organization returning. Maybe it's Josh McDaniels. Make sure you do subscribe and lock us in here at Patriots Today.